Hello, and welcome to the Fringe Topics channel. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and join us on the exploration of the Fringe. Highgate Cemetery, located in North London, is a place steeped in history and atmosphere. Established in the 19th century, it quickly became one of London's most prestigious burial grounds, housing the remains of notable figures like Karl Marx and George Eliot. By the late 20th century, however, the cemetery had fallen into disrepair. Many of the once grand mausoleums were now crumbling, and the paths were overgrown with ivy and brambles. This eerie, dilapidated setting provided the perfect backdrop for the tales of the supernatural that would soon emerge. In the late 1960s, locals began to whisper about strange occurrences in and around the cemetery. People spoke of a chilling presence, of feeling watched as they walked past the cemetery gates after dark. Some even claimed to have seen apparitions, ghostly figures that vanished into the mist. But among all these tales, one stood out, the story of a tall, dark figure with hypnotic red eyes. This entity was soon dubbed the Highgate Vampire. In the summer evening of 1965, around 8 p.m., Brian Bourne was out walking his dog. As he neared the western entrance of Highgate Cemetery, he felt an unexpected drop in temperature, accompanied by an unsettling silence. Suddenly, he saw a dark, fluid-like substance seeping down the cemetery's wall. From this, a tall figure emerged, appearing male, dressed in dark attire with eyes that glowed a bright red. Bourne's dog reacted aggressively, growling at the figure. Feeling an overwhelming sense of fear, Bourne quickly left the area. 2 years later, in 1967, a couple was walking near the same cemetery location. They were startled to see a figure with a disturbing face standing by the gate. As they continued to watch, the figure slowly faded away. Intrigued and perhaps a bit daring, one of the individuals, Thomas O'Loughlin, decided to return the following night with a friend. Inside the cemetery, they were met with an unusual booming sound. Shortly after, a shadowy figure moved past them, prompting them to leave in haste. That same year, 2 young girls reported a chilling sight, bodies seemingly rising from their graves in the cemetery. In the summer of 1969, a young woman named Elizabeth began experiencing distressing nightmares. In these dreams, a malevolent being attempted to enter her room. Alongside these nightmares, she started sleepwalking and suffered from various physical symptoms. Her boyfriend, Keith, noted 2 puncture marks on her neck, leading some to believe she had been attacked by a supernatural entity. To counteract the effects, protective measures were taken, including giving her a silver cross and performing various protective rituals. Following these measures, Elizabeth's health reportedly improved. However, the mysterious events around Highgate Cemetery didn't stop. More individuals came forward with accounts of shadowy figures. One person spoke of a trail of blood leading to a tomb and witnessing a dark figure entering it. Others described seeing a figure rise and move swiftly through the cemetery. In the nearby village of Highgate, the owner of a pub named the Gatehouse reported unexplained phenomena. He heard phantom footsteps and even had a customer who claimed to see an apparition dressed in Elizabethan attire. In the early 1970s, dead animals with torn throats and seemingly drained of blood were discovered in and around the cemetery. Some believed it to be the work of a local dog, but others weren't so sure. Another woman named Louisa began experiencing symptoms similar to that of Elizabeth. During one of her sleepwalking episodes, she was drawn to a specific tomb in the cemetery. In a dramatic moment, she removed a crucifix she was wearing. After a loud booming sound echoed through the night, Louisa fainted. When she awoke, she had no memory of the event. The media played a significant role in amplifying the hysteria. Newspapers ran sensational headlines, and local television stations aired interviews with alleged witnesses. The more the story was covered, the more people came forward with their own tales of encounters with the vampire. The line between fact and fiction began to blur, and it became challenging to separate genuine sightings from hoaxes or the products of overactive imaginations. In the midst of the growing hysteria surrounding the Highgate Vampire, two individuals stepped into the limelight, each claiming expertise in the supernatural and a determination to confront the entity. David Farrant was the first to publicly announce his involvement. In February 1970, he wrote a letter to a local newspaper stating that he had seen the ghostly figure while passing the cemetery. Farrant's claims were not limited to mere sightings. He conducted nocturnal vigils, attempting to capture evidence of the supernatural activity. Farrant approached the phenomenon with an open mind, suggesting that the figure might be a ghost or restless spirit rather than a vampire. Sean Manchester, on the other hand, was convinced that the entity was a vampire. He believed that it was an undead being that had been reawakened by modern-day Satanists or black magic practitioners. Manchester claimed to have inside information about the vampire's origins and even identified a specific tomb where the creature supposedly rested during the day. He asserted that the only way to put an end to the sightings and ensure the safety of the public was to locate the vampire's coffin and perform a ritual to destroy the creature. The differing views of Farrant and Manchester led to a public rivalry. They challenged each other's theories and methods through newspaper articles, television appearances, and public statements. This rivalry added another layer of intrigue to the already sensational story. The media and the public were captivated not only by the tales of the Highgate Vampire, but also by the unfolding drama between the two self-proclaimed vampire hunters. On a Friday the 13th in February 1970, a television special about the supernatural occurrences at Highgate aired on Thames TV. That very night, individuals, some self-proclaimed vampire hunters equipped with wooden stakes, converged on the cemetery from various parts of London. The crowd was so immense that they managed to breach police barriers set up for crowd control. In August of the same year, two unsettling incidents occurred. The remains of a woman who had been deceased for a century were found desecrated near her burial site. A few weeks later, Farrant was apprehended in a different cemetery, found in possession of a wooden stake and a crucifix. By 1973, the Highgate Vampire saga reached its climax. Manchester declared that he had put an end to the vampire's reign by driving a stake through its heart. However, the legend persisted. The rivalry between Farrant and Manchester intensified, culminating in 1973 when they both declared a magical duel to take place on Parliament Hill in Hampstead. This duel, however, was eventually called off. Over the subsequent decades, both men sporadically appeared in the public eye, maintaining their long-standing feud until Farrant's passing in 2019. As the years passed, the media frenzy around the Highgate Vampire began to wane. However, the legend had firmly taken root in popular culture. The story inspired numerous books, documentaries, and even fictional works. Highgate Cemetery itself saw a surge in visitors, with many tourists and paranormal enthusiasts eager to explore the site of the alleged vampire activity. Skeptics and researchers have since tried to find rational explanations for the sightings and events of the 1970s. Farrant maintained that members of a satanic cult performed rituals that brought the dark energy into existence and that it's still around to this day. Some suggest that the figure was nothing more than a combination of overactive imaginations, the eerie atmosphere of the cemetery, and possible hoaxes or pranks. Others point to the influence of popular vampire movies and literature of the time, which could have shaped people's perceptions and interpretations of what they saw. The rivalry between Farrant and Manchester also came under scrutiny, with some suggesting that their public disagreements and competing narratives added to the sensationalism and muddied the waters of genuine investigation. Today, the Highgate Vampire is remembered as one of London's most famous urban legends. While definitive proof of the vampire's existence remains elusive, the story serves as a testament to the power of folklore, media influence, and public fascination with the unknown. The events at Highgate Cemetery in the 1970s offer a glimpse into a time when the lines between fact and fiction, belief and skepticism were blurred, creating a legend that continues to captivate and intrigue. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do Your support truly does mean a lot to us. Until next time, be safe and take care. Goodbye for now.